New government refinance programs in 2023. Is this something that you should expect? The CFPB, the Consumer Financial Protection Bureau, just put out a request for information, an RFI they call it, looking for information about what products may or may not serve the communities they're trying to serve looking into 2023. In this video, I'm going to jump into what that might mean for you as a consumer and what programs you might see. All right, Matt, the Mortgage Guy, residential mortgage broker. Before we jump into the video, we need a good dad mortgage joke. So what do you call a woman who sets her mortgage documents on fire? Bernadette. If you want more corny jokes like that, and you want to connect with me and my team, go to greatmortgagebroker.com, fill out the form. We'll be in touch within 24 hours. If you want to connect with a great agent in your area, I don't know if their jokes are that good, but homeandmoney.com/Matt. So in this video, I want to talk about refinance. When I saw this, and I had a friend of mine point this out to me, I thought to myself, oh, I do remember HARP, Home Affordable Refinance Program. That was about a decade ago, right? And the impact that had, the people that was able to help. Are we going to see more programs like that in the future? In this video, I'm going to talk about this RFI, request for information. And let me just share my screen so you guys can see what the heck is this guy talking about, right? The CFPB, and we'll probably start with who is the CFPB, are basically a regulatory agency, right? That like they oversee financial products and services that are offered to consumers. They are protecting the best interest of the consumers. They're making sure that there's no funny business, consumers aren't being taken advantage of. They were created in 2010, and they're a regulatory agency, right? It was the Dodd-Frank Act after the mortgage meltdown, all the crazy stuff that was going on. Like their goals are basically preventing financial harm to consumers, educating and empower consumers. You can go to CFPB website and find information. They've even got like an average where you type in your zip code and you can look at what the average mortgage interest rates are and things like that. So anyhow, that's what they do, right? They're in place to protect the consumer. And so they, from time to time, put out what is called an RFI, a request for information. And down here in the screen that I'm sharing is something from them about 3 weeks ago, right? Launching an effort to spur new opportunities for homeowners in the mortgage market. They're asking for information from the public. You submit information, ideas to them, information on refinances, mortgage products to promote competition and support household financial stability. If you dig into this and you look at the specific request for information, they're targeting certain demographics and lower balance mortgages, right? I think what I've heard, and just to give you kind of an overview from people, is that in 2020 and 2021, rates were low. We had access to really cheap debt and low interest rates. Not everyone was able to take advantage of it, right? And so the CFPB is saying, hey, somebody who doesn't have the financial means, doesn't have the same credit score, doesn't have the same income, might be in a rural area, might be in a certain, demographic, they deserve to have affordable interest rates, access to cheap, mortgage rates, just like everybody else, right? And so they are looking for ways, folks that did not qualify because their debt to income ratio was too high, things like that, right? Like we already saw the program that came out within the last 12 months where they'd stretched the DTI for certain households that were less than 120% of the area median income. This is more of that, in my opinion, right? The mortgage market has not provided products that allow all households to save money by refinancing at a lower rate. This is what the director, Rohit Chopra, said. We're eager for input on ways that borrowers taking out loans today can refinance to lower rates in the future. So this is not just like, what can we do to help people that are already in loans? What are we going to do in the future for somebody who might get into a loan, but they're having trouble with that payment? And you know what this says to me? This says to me, Somebody might get into a home right now at a 6.5, 7.5% interest rate and really be stretched financially. They might 6 months, 12 months, 24, 36 months from now be in a position where they're locked into this mortgage. And whether that's because their, financial picture has changed and the debt to income ratio doesn't work, or maybe it's the fact that the market is flat and they don't have enough equity for a refinance, whatever the case may be, they're thinking of programs in advance that are going to help these folks refinance into lower interest rates if and when available. Give them the same access that not everybody had in 2020 and 2021, where quite honestly, as a mortgage professional, I can tell you the people with, the most access, the highest credit scores, the well off, to put it bluntly, were refinancing at scale. And some people with less resources, the people that truly needed it the most, were not refinancing as much. Sure, they were as well, but not as much, right? And so this is a level the playing field. Let's get everyone involved. If interest rates go down, let's let everybody play ball, right? Which is a good thing. So reading more into this, mortgage payments are often a household's single largest expenditure. So in terms of a mortgage's, impact on a household's financial stability, it's big, right? When interest rates decline, many borrowers benefit from the lower rates by refinancing their loans. For example, their researchers, the first 10 months of 2020, consumer savings was $5.3 billion annually, right? So the typical consumer saved $300 a month. Looking at that snapshot, the first 10 months of 2020, it can, the savings from refinancing a mortgage can translate into increased wealth and equity for borrowers. However, mortgage refinance can be harder to access for borrowers with smaller loan balances. Black and Hispanic borrowers who on average have smaller loans have not participated in recent refinance booms at the same rate as white borrowers. This is to my point, right? They are basically saying the next refinance boom we have, we're not going to make the same mistake we made last time, where the most well off, the ones with the most access, were able to refinance at a much higher degree than everyone else. We want it available to everybody. So in closing, I want to just touch on what could this mean? What would we see in 2023, 2024, and beyond? Home Affordable Refinance Program, HARP, was a program that came about a decade ago. I did these in 2013 and 2014. I remember there was HARP and there's HARP 2. It was a really streamlined program that allowed the masses, and truth be told, a lot of people that were underwater able to refinance into a lower interest rate, right? And so it gave access to a larger demographic, more people. Something like this could be in the works, right? Where it's interesting to me that they're already planning for a refinance boom. Me and others think that when inflation declines, mortgage rates will go with it. Mortgage rates will come down. So in 2023 and 2024, there's going to be the ability to refinance. I think this is great where they're already anticipating that, and they're going to bring in the ideas, the whole reason for this request for information, and how do we do this? How do we do this at scale to where everyone can participate? Whether it's HARP 3 or whatever it is, right? It's going to be a program where you say, listen, I've got a 6.5% interest rate. I've made good on it for the last 24 months. I'm good at making my payments. If I get this streamlined refinance down to 4.5%, I'm likely to make that payment too, right? And that's about as easy as those HARP loans were. So stay tuned, more to come. Any information I get about any type of talks of programs, I'll be happy to share. They'll take this information, they'll stew on it, they'll develop programs. No doubt you're going to see programs in 2023 and beyond that address this issue of providing access to refinance to everybody. It's a good thing. It's a good thing for consumers, right? So any comments or questions you have, please feel free in the comments below to let me know. what your thoughts are. Maybe you have some ideas on how we could do something that would work to help the masses refinance. And as this stated, that's something that if we enter into a recession, really helps households being able to refinance their mortgages into lower interest rates, which translates into lower payments. Thanks for watching. Till next time, we gonna see.